Good morning. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN 905. My name is Chris Hand. It's actually really nice out this morning.
Beautiful.
I was enjoying it. I was also woken up at 3 a.m. because when the thunderstorms get bad, the kids come running in.
Aw, a little scared.
It's all right. I do. This is what I usually do. I just pretend to be sleeping and let my wife take care of it. She knows. That's usually my go-to.
That's great.
Hey, whenever you do that, do you ever just crack your eyes open just a little bit?
Just
to
a
see?
hair.
Yeah, because you don't want them to see the gleam in your eye because that'd give it away.
Yep, the king size bed. It was made for, I think it was like 4 people in there at one time last night.
Oh my gosh.
It's
the whole party.
We just kept adding more. Might need one of those Amish mattresses, big one. All right, so yesterday, Joe Biden declared in New Mexico that his economic policies are actually reviving U.S. manufacturing. So that's good news. He's been touring the west side of the country to drum up support for his efforts on jobs and inflation, even though nobody believes him. And he goes around and he says these things and nobody believes him. And I mean, even CNN commented that they feel like this keeps happening, that he has to tout his achievements and then nobody believes him. Oh, you give me some audio? Mac.
Gosh dang it.
Go get some coffee.
So the White House clearly trying to gin up excitement for President Biden's 2024 campaign.
Yes.
CNN's poll from last week found that President Biden's approval rating is at only 41%.
Oh, weird.
Only 37% of Americans approve of his handling of the economy. I said this in our staff meeting today. I feel like I've been noting this for 3 years. President Biden is out there heralding such and such, and the American people disapprove overwhelmingly.
Yeah, it's been happening for 3 years. Everybody knows Joe Biden wants to tell you he's doing good, but nobody believes him. But yeah, he was back in New Mexico yesterday just to do that, remind people how great he's doing.
Well, look, the Financial Times and the Wall Street Journal have started to call my plan Bidenomics. Initially, I don't think they meant it with a great deal of respect. With all due respect toward them, our plan is working. It's working.
And there's the president, recycling the same joke that he's been telling for 6 months now. Bidenomics. Nobody said it the first time like it was nice, but it's working. It's working.
Yeah, somebody should ask him today, is that why inflation ticked up again after 12 months of decline?
That means it's working, Ken Weaver. But Biden actually highlighted what the real problem is in America, and this is it.
The problem was too many people are working, making too much money. That's not the problem.
So that's the problem.
Too many people are working.
The problem is that not enough people are working, that too many people are working, making too much money, but that's not the problem.
Is that working for you?
Yeah, just one more time. I just want to make sure everybody's keeping score at home for what the real problem is.
The problem was too many people are working, making too much money. That's not the problem.
That's not it. All right. Thank you, Mr. President. He's a wordsmith. Oh, yeah. The funny thing is, come 2024, Trump and Biden are going to be running on their records, okay? And Trump is proud of his. And despite Biden's recent embrace of the word Bidenomics, he's not proud of what's going on in the country. He constantly tries to deflect attention from what his policies are doing and have done to the economy. And he exaggerates his accomplishments in critical areas like job creation. That's the real problem.
The problem was too many people are working, making too much money. That's not the problem.
That's not it. All right. It seems like he's been asleep his whole presidency. And even he tried haphazardly to make a joke that he's been hibernating in Iowa.
I hibernated in Hawaii, Iowa for a while, but Look,
Did you hear that?
Hawaii? Is that what he called it?
Well, listen. I don't want to. He's a senior citizen, and you try say hibernating in Iowa
Well, yeah,
5
that's
times
true.
fast, but
That is a tough one.
I will give him a pass. Speaking is hard.
I hibernated in Hawaii, Iowa for a while, but look,
Look, Jack.
Look.
Look here, Jack.
Let's get to the real reason why we're here. We want to talk about wind towers. All right, we're harnessing the power of the earth, the wind, and that's why we're here today in New Mexico.
because it makes wind towers that's going to go into turbines made by GE Verona. Excuse me, I mispronounced it. Vernova in Florida, New York.
All right, so that's it. We're making wind towers by GE Narova, and he mispronounced it. Again, I mispronounce things. I don't want to be too hard on him.
I do it every half hour.
But he touts how great these wind towers are, and I just want to point out every wind turbine, solar panel. See, I do it. I just pulled a Biden. Solar panel and lithium battery. They're the product of resources that are mined by 9-year-olds in the Congo. So the claims about a green utopia because of windmills and solar panels, nobody ever touches on how many minerals and other resources are required to get there. But that doesn't stop our fearless leaders in the West from virtue signaling and paying lip service while human rights abuses are being committed in the name of green energy. But, what do I know?
Those blades are 103 yards long, longer than a football field. And by the way, they don't cause cancer.
Oh, all right. So on the windmills, the blades are 103 yards long, which Mac is a football guy. That is technically longer than a football field.
Yeah, if you don't count the end zones, yes.
All right. Well, let's not get too technical on it, man. All right.
Yeah, fair enough.
And they don't cause cancer, so that's good.
Check.
I thought we cured cancer already, so nothing should be causing cancer.
Yeah, wait a minute. Wait, what?
You're going around bragging your achievements, and you're leaving out the biggest one, Mr. President. You cured cancer already.
Those blades are 103 yards long,
It's huge.
longer than a football field. And by the way,
Tell me.
they don't cause cancer.
All right. Good to know. Good to know. Just in case you're keeping score at home, things that don't cause cancer, blades on a windmill.
Nice.
All right. and then what? It wouldn't be a Biden speech if the creepy whisper man didn't return.
People sometimes say, why are you doing that? Imagine if along
Oh, no, hold on. Sorry. Before the creepy whisper man returns, he wanted to say, I don't want to bury the lead. He wanted to say why we're investing in new green energy. And he sold it by saying, could you imagine if we didn't invest in the telephone?
people sometimes say, why are you doing that? Imagine if a long time Roosevelt and telephones came along and said, we're not going to help invest in telephones. Come on, man. I don't know what the hell we're thinking.
What? Hold on. What did he say?
Telephones came along and said, we're not going to help invest in telephones.
Imagine if telephones came along and we said we're not going to help invest in telephones.
Telephones came along and said, we're not going to help invest in telephones.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. I don't know what the hell we're thinking.
I don't know what we're done thinking. Did you hear that last part?
I don't know what the hell we're thinking.
Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
And then after he made, the just amazing comparison about how we shouldn't not invest in windmills because of telephones, then the creepy whisper man returned.
Unless you make more than $400,000 a year, your federal taxes aren't going to go up a single penny. And guess what? I did all this without raising anybody's taxes in the middle class.
Unless you make $400,000 a year, your taxes aren't going to go up a single penny. And guess what? I did all that without raising taxes on the middle class.
And
Raising taxes on people who make more than $400,000 a year trickles down to everybody else.
Yep. You got to love it.
Unless you make more than $400,000 a year. Your federal taxes aren't going to go up a single penny. And guess what? I did all this without raising anybody's taxes in the middle class.
Oh, now he's
and one other little thing.
He's going to yell.
During this process, I cut the federal budget in 2 years by $1.7 trillion.
Yeah. Woo! Come on.
Woo!
He's a man.
I do. I pointed this out yesterday. That $1.7 trillion cut is garbage because what he did was he let the $2 trillion COVID spending just expire on schedule and then added $300 billion to the national deficit. So that's where you get the $1.7 trillion. He let the COVID stuff expire when it was supposed to, and then he added $300 billion. So, I don't want to stop the celebration.
During this process, I cut the federal budget in 2 years by $1.7 trillion.
Beast mode. Who else is cutting things like that?
He got so intense for after the Whisper Man.
Oh my gosh, the Whisper Man. You have to love the Whisper Man. And then, he made sure at the end of the speech, after all of that he was going to end strong. And that's one thing I like about President Biden. He always ends strong.
To Senator Heinrich, I tell you what, I'm glad I was a flanker back. I'm glad I didn't have you on the other side as a tight end. But good to see you, man. Thank you, and thank your whole family. Good to meet you.
All right. But Mac, you're a football guy.
What?
What's a flanker back?
Flanker back? Is he talking about an edge rusher? I mean,
That's got to be that. That's from like the early 1900s.
I know we're not supposed to talk sports on a news station, but this is relevant because of the president.
it is.
Flanker back.
Flanker back.
There's one more. And he was glad he wasn't a flanker back, I think he said.
I tell you what, I'm glad I was a flanker back. I'm glad I didn't have you on the other side as a tight end. But good to see you, man. Thank you, and thank your whole family. Good to meet you.
All right.
That's a receiver.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what they called a receiver back in the early 1900s.
All right. Super texters, please hold on your wide receiver tight end jokes. All right. They're layups, okay?
It's low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, it's low-hanging fruit.
That flanker back looks real good out there, boys.
I tell you what, I'm glad I was a flanker back. I'm glad I didn't have you on the other side as a tight end.
Flanker back.
That's so good. I don't know what to say about the man. He has just clear cut dementia. He doesn't know what year it is, and Keith texted and said, "I think Joe meant flounderback." 9365 said, "No, it's okay for Chris Hanpelt to talk sports."
There you go. Yeah, it works.
Everybody says I sound like Scott Van Pelt, so I'm allowed to talk sports. We have the best flanker back in the league.
I tell you what, I'm glad I was a flanker back.
He's at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
I tell you what, I'm glad I was a flanker back. I'm glad I didn't have you on the other side as a tight end.
All right. That's as much sports as we're going to talk on a news station.
Gosh.
It's a shame kids don't grow up. They all grow up. They want to be the quarterback. Nobody wants to be the flanker back
one's
anymore.
Talking about the flanker back.
Like, it is just like, it's lower than the punter on like what the kids want to play.
I'd rather be the long snapper than the flanker back. Honestly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
You mean the hiker?
Yeah, you're right. My fault. The hiker.
Yeah, you'd rather be the guy holding the ball than being,
Yes.
than being the flanker back. It's a shame what's happened to sports.
I tell you what, I'm glad I was a flanker back. I'm glad I didn't have you on the other side as a tight end.
Maybe now that Joe Biden's bringing awareness to the flanker back position, we're going to see, an increase in that.
Oh yeah, a complete revitalization of the flanker back. Get ready this season, guys.
Well, I feel like the Titans should put an emphasis on the flanker back position because it's a lost art.
Sorry, Derrick Henry, you're gone. We need a flanker back.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
Running back, get out of here. What are you, some kind of bum? Flanker backs are the new thing. It is 9:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And texted in and said, "Is flanker back real?" I have no idea.
It's old school is what it is.
And we don't know. At this point, we're not even sure Joe Biden is real. That could have just been a glitchy hologram. But I'm going to put my tinfoil aside. It's 9:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Be a part of the show. Super text line is open, 615-737-9986. It's WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for the Dr. Gill Center in Franklin. I know so many people that have dealt with opioid addiction. I know them personally. It's terrible. And that's why I love the Dr. Gill Center, because don't take a pill, call Dr. Gill. They have no pills necessary relief for your back pain, neck pain, knee pain, hip pain, elbow pain, whatever pain you're dealing with. It can all be treated with no needles and no downtime. At the Dr. Gill Center, they've been helping people get back to a pain-free life for over 30 years. And right now, a special offer at the Dr. Gill Center. If you're out there suffering with pain and looking for non-surgical solutions, check this out. $49 will get you all of your new patient initial examination, x-ray, and a complete review of findings. So that's less than $50 to find out what's causing your pain. You don't have to live in pain any longer. Give the Dr. Gill Center in Franklin a call now and begin your journey to becoming pain-free. Call 615-882-4838. That's 615-882-4838, and tell them Chris Hand told you to call. Don't take a pill. Call Dr. Gill.
Crashes getting in the way right now. East Nashville, injury crash at Gallatin Pike just north of Trinity Lane. Got one in Brentwood, 65 northbound right before Concord Road. And in Talbot's Corner, 65 southbound right there at Trinity Lane. Some new economic indicators out this morning, and the high school in Nashville with the most students getting disciplined. Details at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Without hearing the news report, I bet the super texters could have a general idea of what school that would be. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN 926. My name is Chris Hand. We've been talking, and people have been texting about Joe Biden, and his talking about his football career, and bringing back the position of flanker back.
I tell you what, I'm glad I was a flanker back. I'm glad I didn't have you on the other side as a tight end.
So
You'd be on the same side. That's both offense.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
What are you talking about?
yeah, a lot of people pointed out a flanker back is the slot receiver. But it's obvious Joe played with a leather helmet. That was from John. Yeah, he took a couple shots to the head, that's for sure. Jeez Louise. Ann said, "Oh, Mr. Chris, we are so screwed." We are screwed. But this is not a serious country any longer. But I, for one, I enjoy laughing about it instead of crying. I'd rather mock them relentlessly for the stupidity instead of letting them get away with it. And I also don't want to let anybody get away with this. There was actually some news a day ago that I missed within all the headlines. There's been an update on Cocaine Gate.
Fox News alert, a major update in the White House cocaine scandal. According to a report cited by the New York Post, a source close to the White House says Joe Biden knows exactly who left the bag of cocaine in the White House. And it's someone in the Biden family orbit. But this source says it wasn't Hunter's.
Whoa. Are you sure? Are you sure it wasn't Hunter's? Are you sure?
Now, we haven't verified the report, but if this is true, it adds another layer to the cover-up.
Okay, so whose Coke was it? Just tell us. Like, we're not even mad anymore. We're just disappointed, and we just want to know. Right? Like, is that okay? Can they just tell us?
We deserve that.
I just want to know. I promise to not even be mad about it.
You sound like a parent or something.
Like, just own up to it. Tell me whose bag this was, and we'll all move. We'll have a discussion. We'll all move on. Like, I'm not mad, just disappointed.
Just want to know.
Just
be honest with me.
Come on, Jack.
I'm just super curious. So we may never know. I do think they're lying that it was Hunter's, but as 8602 just pointed out on the super text line, if it was Hunter's, he would have snorted it immediately. Yeah, if they had found an empty bag, it would have led more credence to it being Hunter's. A lot of people on the super text line say it was probably Jill's. That very well could be Jill Biden. Low key, a good value bet for whose cocaine it was at the White House. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're looking for odds, Jill would probably have the most return on investment. Right? Would that be me? I don't know.
I just like how the writer put it in the terms of it's somebody in the Biden family orbit.
Yeah.
Talking about cocaine.
Would Hunter Biden's drug dealer be considered in the Biden family orbit?
Yeah, well, how wide is this orbit?
Yeah, define orbit, sir.
Far out, man.
All right, it is 9:29. Enough of Cocaine Gate. Time for some real news with my man Ken Weaver on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$9:30 on the dot this Thursday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Looks like they have cleared that crash blocking your way in Brentwood. Still got the one, though, Gallatin Pike north of Trinity Lane. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Inflation's up again, 3.2% in July from 3% in June. Shelter and rent accounts for 90% of the uptick. 248,000 out-of-work Americans filed their initial claims for assistance in the week ending August 5th, an increase of 21,000 from the week before. And right now in Nashville, Fox 17 News has been looking into the number of students who get disciplined in Metro Nashville public schools. They say state data shows Antioch High School tops the list at 402 students in the last school year. Antioch High is where a teacher was punched in the face and pepper sprayed for taking a student's cell phone when she refused to put it away during class. That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hey folks, I'm Paul Winkler. One of the biggest decisions people have to make in retirement is how to take Social Security. You'll get all kinds of workshops about that, and you'll see all kinds of things about that particular topic. Because Social Security, for some people, it might be a third or even more of their income in retirement. So you want to get this decision right. Well, how do you make the decision? Well, one of the things we look at, there are programs we use. This is one of the simpler programs that we use right here. And I want to just show you how it works and how it actually unravels some of the misconceptions we have about Social Security. So we have two people here, they're age 60, and they're looking at filing for Social Security. One person has a retirement benefit of $2,500. That is their main benefit from Social Security at their full retirement age. The other one has a $500 benefit. And what we can do here, which is kind of cool, is look at this and say, okay, well, what if we have this person has that life expectancy and that person has that life expectancy there? And then what we do is we assume a certain cost of living increase in Social Security. What would be the optimal for taking the benefit where they get the most benefit or the most bang from their buck? And where we see the star, that shows that we would have the best benefit. Now, this is one person filing at age 67, the other person at age 70. Well, a lot of people think, well, I retire, I have to take Social Security at the same time that I retire, and that's not necessarily the case. As you can see here, one may take it at one age and one may take it at another, even though they're the same age right now. Now, the other thing we can do is say, well, what if I took it early? What if I took it at this particular age right here, where one person's 65 and the other one's 65? You can actually see how much it could cost in benefits. When we do this, we can see how much it might cost us and how much it might affect us negatively to do that. Now, the other thing we can do is we can play around the life expectancies, and we say, well, if this person lives to that age, now the cost is $187,000 in this particular example, taking it at that age right there. So you can see, based on your own life expectancy, and typically people will say, well, what did my parents live to, and come up with that type of data. So this is just part of the financial planning process that we use at Paul Winkler Inc. If you want to know more about what we do, you can get a free 15-minute phone call at our website, paulwinkler.com. We do financial planning, full financial planning. We do investing, education, and investing. We actually help people through those decisions, helping them set up their 401ks and those types of decisions, as well as risk management. But we don't get paid on commission. That's what makes us so different from other firms out there that do what we do. So if you want to find out more, go to paulwinkler.com.
9:37 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand. How are you doing? Having a great day? I hope you are. The Super Text line is open for you, 615-737-9986. A lot of people chiming in about the flanker back in chief, Joe Biden. And Peter Doocy, he just got back to work from paternity leave. Not like, I don't think it was Pete Buttigieg style paternity leave. I think it was like actual paternity leave, like just, but he got back to work. And then the first thing the man does is confront Joe Biden and ask him an absolutely lousy question.
There's this testimony now where one of your son's former business associates is claiming that you were on speakerphone a lot with them talking business. Is that what?
Never talk business to anybody. And I knew you'd have a lousy question.
Well, why is that a lousy question?
Because it's not true.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
He said, I knew you'd have a lousy question. It's like, oh, geez, Peter's back. Somebody's going to ask me a real thing.
Yeah.
Run. But my favorite part was Peter Doocy smirking because, he knew he got the clip. He knew he got the bit that's going to go viral. And so at the end, I think he was actually thanking him because he has just one of those S-eating grins on. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
I gotcha.
Thank you, Mr. President. So funny.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Oh, my gosh. I can't believe you would ask him such a lousy question. I mean, who wants to know about the Biden crime family? That's not news. Ask him about being a flanker back, Doocy. Bring the hits. Ask something real, please. I mean, that this is low. This is low. Ask him about something real. That's all I want to say. I hope that Peter Doocy focuses on real news moving forward. But he's just always asking lousy questions. Also, real news is happening in the Biden crime family, as you know, and you've known for a very long time. The revelations that are coming out that Hunter Biden was accepting money from the Moscow mayor, that James Comer and the House Oversight Committee are releasing. These aren't exactly new revelations. We're covering them like they're new because it's finally being put to ink and paper. But I just want to remind you, Trump knew all of this at the debate with Biden.
I don't make money from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You do. I don't make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have a statement that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think. But you're the big man, I think. Your son said we have to give 10% to the big man. Joe, what's that all about? It's terrible.
It is terrible. Joe Biden denied and deflected. And then yesterday we get the House Oversight Committee stuff about that Moscow mayor, Yelena Bartina, something like that. Anyway, the Moscow mayor's wife. But Trump knew about that, too. Trump knew about the Moscow mayor's wife.
China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars. Takes out billions of dollars to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also, while we're at it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Burisma to deserve $183,000?
None of that.
All of this is old news. It's just now being entered on ink and paper, and we're finding out about it. I'm getting a little frustrated. I know Dan Mandis had kind of similar take. Where's the action on all of this, James Comer? When are you actually going to do something? He was on Hannity the other night, and he was talking about just this, the latest on the Biden crime family, and he brought up the fact that they know all of this because Devin Archer testified about it.
I mean, we just had the president's son's business partner and best friend testify that Hunter Biden made his millions of dollars selling Joe Biden, selling access to Joe Biden, that Joe Biden was the brand. He admitted that they didn't do anything like a normal business. They didn't provide any service. They didn't sell anything. What they did was sold access to the federal government. They peddled Joe Biden's butt to our adversaries around the world and took millions and millions of dollars.
That's exactly what they did. They peddled his butt around the world. I mean, you can rely on a flanker back to deliver. That's what I say. But, James Comer's asked, what do you say when they're asked, when they're telling you, and left-wing media and Democrats are coming out saying no one's proven that Joe's done anything wrong? Because that's what the left-wing media says, that there's no evidence, and they pivot. Joe didn't talk about business. Joe didn't talk to them at all. Joe didn't talk about business. Joe only talked about the weather. And now Joe didn't do anything illegal. So what do you have to say to the Democrats and the left-wing media who says there's no evidence of Joe Biden's wrongdoing? I mean, you and I know that there is a mountain of evidence, but what do you say to the Democrats?
No, they haven't proven Joe Biden did anything wrong. I mean, how much more evidence do they need?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, the media can say one thing, but the American people see that there's corruption here.
Yeah.
They realize that this family has profited off of their backs, paying taxes for this government, and they want something done about it.
Yeah, we absolutely want something done about it. I'm not going to hold my breath that things will be done about it. We had Andy Ogles, congressman, on earlier this week, and even he told us that he doesn't envision Joe Biden's going to go to jail. Come on, guys. You can't expect these people to be held accountable for their crimes. What kind of clown world are you living in? This isn't. If they had an R next to their name, maybe they would be brought into court, but they don't. They have a D. They're the color blue. So, blue people are good. As you know, we've all seen the Smurfs. They do no wrong. So they're gentle creatures. Anyone in blue. And they're not going to be charged for any of this. That's where we're at. And the media, as James Comer says, is lazy, absolutely lazy at best, and downright complicit at worst.
If the president's done nothing wrong, then they should allow us to see their personal bank record. I mean, you've seen the emails that showed that Hunter Biden was complaining to his daughter that he had to give half of his income to his father.
Right.
That's pretty damning evident.
Yeah.
When his income 100% came from our adversaries around the world for influence peddling, for violating the Foreign Agents Registration Act. And his dad, now we know, was on the phone call with all 20 of these people that sent the Biden family these millions of dollars. So Joe Biden has been implicated. And if there's nothing to hide, then they should be transparent with us with their financial records and stop obstructing and intimidating our witnesses and blocking us from more bank records.
Well, I will point out this has been the most transparent administration in history. If the Biden administration does anything, it's just be as transparent can be. That's one of their strong suits. They're very transparent. They don't hide anything. I mean, they admitted that the cocaine was in the orbit of the Biden family, right? So they're not gonna lie to us, right? All right. So what's next? James Comer says, and spoiler alert, James Comer says he's down for impeachment. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Well, I would certainly vote to impeach, and I think we've seen that there's already been a whole lot more wrongdoing proven on Joe Biden than ever was with Donald Trump with that first impeachment with respect to him just asking about corruption in Ukraine.
So again, this is all stuff that we've known. None of this is really breaking news. A lot of these accusations were on the internet leading up to the 2020 election. They were censored. They were, blacklisted. The New York Post was basically banned, and you weren't allowed to share these stories on Facebook and Twitter. But we've known, if you've been keeping score at home, if you've been paying attention, none of this are really new revelations. So I don't know if anything is going to come of this. And the Democrats will continue to deflect. Even when they're asked point blank by Mockingbird media like CNN about the accusations, they deflect. High Chief Elizabeth Warren was on CNN last night and was asked about these crimes.
Republicans on the House Oversight Committee say that they have identified more than $20 million in payments from foreign sources to the Biden family, including Hunter Biden and their business associates. So far, we haven't seen any direct evidence pointing to Joe Biden, President Biden, doing anything illegal, and I don't necessarily know what's everything that's in this. But I do wonder on a broader level, the 30,000 foot view of this. People close to people close to Joe Biden.
Of course.
Or people close to Donald Trump, but I'm talking about Joe Biden.
Yeah, they're talking about Joe Biden, but of course they won't miss the opportunity on CNN to loop Donald Trump into it as well, right? You know, never let a good crisis go to waste. So let's at least bring up the orange man before we let High Chief Elizabeth Warren answer the question. So about Joe Biden's crimes, Miss Warren.
Making tens of millions of dollars because of their closeness to him, that can't be something that you like. That can't be something that you're comfortable with as a phenomenon.
Look, I always worry about the influence peddlers in Washington, regardless of party affiliation. One of the things, as you know, I've spent a lot of my time in Congress working on.
I just want to fact check right there. She says she spent a lot of her time in Congress working. I don't believe that's true, and I feel like we should get our fact checkers on it. But I will let High Chief Elizabeth Warren finish the question.
About the influence peddlers in Washington, regardless of party affiliation. One of the things, as you know, I've spent a lot of my time in Congress working on is how we bring just more ethics and more oversight in general to everything that we do in government. We've got a United States Supreme Court.
What?
Where people take gifts and don't even report them, even though the law requires them to report.
What? You deflect on the Supreme Court when you're asked about Joe Biden's crimes? High Chief Elizabeth Warren, I expect more out of you. I don't expect you to work in Congress, but I do expect you to at least answer the question that was asked of you. And speaking of gifts, Hunter Biden, these new revelations, the revelations that we've known about for years show that he was wired $142K, just about, give or take a few pennies, $142K, and the very next day he bought a Porsche 911 with the same amount of money. And yes, I said Porsche because I was lambasted for pronouncing it wrong yesterday on the show. But so he's wired that by a Kazakhstan oligarch, and then he goes and buys a Porsche. And then he takes the Porsche and he drives around a residential neighborhood at 172 miles per hour smoking crack and live streaming it, or recording the video and putting it on his laptop. So, but deflect on gifts that the Supreme Court are getting. Is that even a story? I pay attention to a lot of news. I have not seen stories about the Supreme Court getting gifts that they're not reporting. Maybe I missed it. Truth be told, I can't read all the news. I try to, but I can't. So just to recap, especially for our friend Super Texter Todd, who's always getting into his car late.
Exactly. I was about to bring him up.
For the mail route. Todd, if you're just joining us, the Biden crime family, we've known about the crimes. Trump knew about the crimes. Everybody's known about the crimes. Nothing's probably going to happen about the crimes. All right. That's just the segment in a nutshell.
There you go, Todd. 9 o'clock sharp, buddy.
Yeah, we start at 9, Todd. It's 9:50 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Find me online, Instagram, Twitter, Truth Social, at Chris Hand on air. Oh, Todd texted us. Todd on the Super Text line, 615-737-9986. Todd says, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. Welcome, Todd. Thank you. All right.
Good job.
It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.